This week on Takedown, the Sooners shock the Wolverines in Ann Arbor. A former world champ teases a return to the mat. Plus, we'll go live one-on-one with one of the best college coaches in the country. Stay tuned. Your wrestling news starts now. Hello again, everybody. I'm Scott Casper, and it's time to take a look at what's trending this week right here on Takedown. It's only Thanksgiving, but if you're a wrestling fan, it feels a lot like Christmas. There was a ton of mega matchups over the weekend, the biggest perhaps in Ann Arbor, Michigan. That's where the third-ranked Wolverines faced off against Mark Cody's undefeated Sooners of Oklahoma. Ryan Milhoff got Oklahoma off to a great start at 125, recording a second-period escape and a takedown for a 3-2 victory over the sixth-ranked Connor Yotze. The defending national champ Cody Brewer followed it up with a tech fall at 133. He had a pair of 4-point near falls on his way to an 18-2 blowout over the sixth-ranked Rossi Bruno. George Fisher finally got the home team on the board with a 7-5 victory over Noah Tini at 141, but the Sooners rebounded with another upset at 49. It was Davion Jeffries who did the job. The freshman kept his undefeated season alive with a 4-3 decision over the 11th-ranked Alec Patelio. Well, an injury default at 157 put Oklahoma up 17-3 at the midway, and it got worse from there. 8th-ranked Clark Glass added 3 more points for the Sooners with a 3-2 win over Garrett Sutton. And then it was Matt Reed who doubled up Devontae Mahomes 14-7 at 74. Dominic Ibonator did his best to stop the bleeding, picking up an 8-1 victory over Joel Dixon at 184. Well, Michigan closed out the duel with 2 more victories, but it was too little, too late. 5th-ranked Max Huntley down Brad Johnson 8-6, and the 3rd-ranked heavyweight in the country, Adam Kuhn, well, he closed it out with a 4-1 victory against Ross Larson. The final score from the Cliff Keen Arena, Oklahoma Sooners come out on top, 23-12.
We went in there, I got to really hand it to my assistant coaches. They really laid down some great individual strategies, and our guys stuck to them for the most part, and I think that was really the difference in a lot of the matches. In every practice, we talked to them about, we can come up with all the strategies in the world, but the best strategy is for you to force your style on your opponent. And, little by little, we're starting to do that. And not really be too caught up in what our opponent does, but really what's most important is what we do and what we're capable of, and we just have to go out there and execute. And I think they really did a good job yesterday with that.
On a much more positive note for Michigan fans, former Wolverine wrestler and 2006 Greco-Roman world champ Joe Warren, well, he's been hinting at a return to the mat. The 39-year-old Bellator star went 3-1 at the Bill Farrell International and lost only 1 bout of the tournament, and that by forfeit. In an interview with Flow Wrestling, Warren said he would continue to cut weight and could make a run at the Olympic team trials at 59. We tracked down the so-called baddest man on the planet and tried to make him commit to a comeback.
We have some time off here, so we just decided to put those shoes back on and try to make Olympic team. So this is the first year in history that they don't pre-qualify ex-world champions for the Olympic team trials. So that's the plan, was I was going to go wrestle Olympic team trials, but Matt Lindland took away that plan of having the ex-world champs be able to just slide into Olympic team trials. So now I have to qualify. So I decided, a few days before the New York Athletic Club I wanted to wrestle. So Bob Forrester, me, and Damian Logan, we decided, I just jumped on a plane and flew to New York and jumped on the scale. I weighed 150. Wrestled 150. That was like the heaviest I ever wrestled. And, I'm going to try to drop down to this 59 kilos for December 18th here at the U.S. Open in Vegas. But it's one step at a time here. So I've been in the wrestling room a lot training and still been punching, but I've been trying to get my timing back down in Greco.
Stay tuned. We'll be back. Headline News is up next.
Casey's, famous for pizza.
Every day in this sport, you have an opportunity to make a difference. To win in this sport, you have to have three things. A strong body will give you the conditioning to win. A strong mind will give you the technical ability to win. But a strong heart will give you the opportunity to win when no one else thinks you can. Let today be your day. Strong mind, strong body, strong heart. That together makes a champion.
Hi, I'm Wayne Boyd, Director of Operations and Development for Titan Mercury Wrestling Club. The club was founded to help wrestling worldwide, especially at our senior level, of course at the collegiate level, and the high school level. But the most important level for Titan Mercury Wrestling Club is the kids level. And these are some of the guys today that will be tomorrow's Olympic champions. Let's hear it, guys.
Titan Mercury!
That's Titan Mercury Wrestling Club, San Marino, California.
Headline News is brought to you by Sunflower Wrestling. Find them online at sunflowerwrestling.com.
All right, let's head west. West Coast, that is. Takedown correspondent Joey Krebs covered the action from Selland Arena, where the top-ranked Penn State downed CSU Bakersfield Friday night, 39-3. Well, the Lions picked up first period falls from Zane Rutherford at 149 and Bo Nickel at 174. They won over brothers Bryce and Cole Hammond. California native Morgan McIntosh hit 5 takedowns in his bout at 197. That was good enough for a 13-5 victory over Reuben Franklin. Joey caught up with a former big-name Nittany Lion who was in attendance. Here's Mr. Wonderful himself, Phil Davis.
Tell us what your experience is, just being out here watching your old alumni team wrestle against Cal State.
It's been great, man. They're so much better than I've heard. You know, I haven't had the opportunity to watch them yet this season, and they look phenomenal. Top to bottom, they're a well-put-together team. Super impressed with these guys. Big shout out to all my Penn State wrestlers. They did great tonight. And Bakersfield wrestling, they did awesome also.
10th ranked Lehigh capped off a weekend road sweep Sunday with a convincing 35-6 victory over Edinburgh. Well, the Mountain Hawks won 8 of 10 in the duel, including pins by Randy Cruz, Mitchell Minotti, and Max Wessel. Senior Nate Brown posted his 6th tech fall of the season at 184 when he defeated Chris Laird 16-0 just 2 minutes into the bout. We talked with Lehigh's head man, Pat Santora.
It was a good match, guys. I thought we were aggressive. We were moving forward. Edinburgh has a really good team. They're really young right now, and they have a couple studs out of the lineup right now. They're going to be a different team come March, but a Tim Flynn team is always a good team to wrestle. Well, no, this weekend I think we are a little more aggressive than we were last weekend, and we executed more, but we still have a lot of work. I mean, we're not near where we need to be, but if we can get a little bit better in 2 weeks, that'll be a good sign.
Well, 4 bonus point victories pushed 7th-ranked Nebraska to a 35-4 win over Wyoming. That on Saturday. 5th-ranked Jake Soufflon and Colton McChrystal added major decisions, and Nebraska ran out to an 11-4 lead just 4 bouts in. Austin Wilson and T.J. Dudley both picked up first-period pins for the Huskers, and heavyweight Colin Jensen closed the duel with a 7-3 decision over Wyoming's Tanner Harms. Nebraska will next return to action this weekend for the 4th annual Grapple at the Garden in New York City. We'll look forward to seeing them at the most famous arena in the world. Back inside the friendly confines of the Sports Pavilion, Minnesota took 6 of 10 over Air Force Saturday afternoon. The score 22-12, the final from Minneapolis. A first-period pin at 1:57 by Brandon Kingsley broke open a tight duel and put the Gophers up 12-6 at the midway point. Back-to-back losses at 65 and 74 erased the lead, however, and the score was knotted at 12 with just 3 bouts remaining. Chris Farr put the Gophers up by 3 with an overtime victory at 84, and his brother Brett sealed the win with a 12-4 major over Michael Hines. Minnesota improves now to 4-3 on the year and perfect 4-0 at home. We go to news now from Cornell, their first dual meet of the season. The Big Red beat Drexel 37-3 Saturday. Rob Cole and company took 9 out of 10 against the Dragons, including 5 bonus point victories. Nashawn Garrett posted the tech fall at 133. Brian Rillabutu turned Nick Elmer for a second-period pin at 74. And defending national champ Gabe Dean also added a 16-8 major at 84. The win marked Cornell's 45th consecutive in the EIWA. Congrats to one and all. Well, powered by 5 bonus point victories, Purdue picked up a 37-12 victory over Bloomsburg Friday night. Tony Ersland's team took 8 of 10 in that one, the biggest coming at 141. That's where Danny Sabatello got his season back on track with a first-period pin against Adam Barrett. The Boilermakers were back at it again on Saturday and improved their dual meet to a 6-1 record with a blowout victory against Shippensburg and another against Lockhaven. Purdue will take the next 2 weeks off before competing at the Las Vegas Invitational on December 5th. All right, let's take a look at some of the other scores from around the country on the Casey's General Store scoreboard. All right, before we go to break, let's take another sneak peek at the new documentary called 4 for 4, highlighting the extensive college career of Kyle Dake.
No, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you the first time I wrestled. I remember pictures of it, looking through albums. I remember sleeping with my trophy like this in the car. I probably get 7 matches in a weekend. And it was just like, it's what I did. And I had fun doing it.
All right, stay tuned. There's more to come. You're watching Takedown.
Dahlimer Sports Surfaces is the exclusive home of the Flexi Connect, the world's first tapeless wrestling mat. With its patented hook and loop system, the Flexi Connect actually strengthens its connection as you use the mat. With no mat tape required, it is also easier to keep your mat clean, as well as save time on setting up and tearing down your mat for practice or competition. All of Dahlimer's standard FlexiRoll lightweight features are also included with the Flexi Connect mat. Dahlimer Sports Surfaces. Others imitate, we innovate.
In this arena, you're either the hunter or the hunted. A hunter needs armor. Earn the right to be a Danmar warrior. Headgear forged in the industrial north for the toughest wrestlers of all ages. Born in the US of A. Work with us to make your custom headgear. Warriors take hits. For better breathing and vision, stay tough with the Warrior Face Guard. Danmar. Warriors need it. Warriors earn it.
The war raged for generations. No amount of bravery and conviction could end the infected, unyielding rage. And with every battle, the evil grew, changed, evolved. The warriors needed nothing short of a miracle to stop the infection, and a miracle they received. Your body is at war against skin infections and diseases each time you step onto the mat. Protect yourself against the invasion. Defend Soap. Defend what you have built.
our guest, Elias Theodoro.
Can you teach me the Showtime kick?
Yeah, definitely.
It is a part of the grappling culture. I mean,
It's a part of the grappling culture.
It is.
If you're successful in something, you need to be insane.
I just want to shock the world.
I'm on the verge of dying because I'm a vicious alcoholic.
Shibata Ippon! What a shot! And that is it!
Well, if you haven't heard of it by now, you better call somebody. Here's Larry Nugent, Wayne Bachman, and Bobby Douglas with this week's episode of Legend Chronicles.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Legend Chronicles. It's the Rick Sanders story. Now, that name's going to ring with a lot of people. If it doesn't ring with you, by the end of this segment and the next segment on thelegendchronicles.com, it will. Rick Sanders was one of those guys that everybody wants to talk about if they knew him. He grew up in Portland, Oregon. He was an orphan. The Stockner family adopted him. I believe their name was the Stockners. And he went to Lincoln High School, and I think his first taste of international competition came when Japan came over for a dual meet with the Oregon All-Stars. And we got a little clip of that we'll show you. It's fantastic. You can see his fighting spirit in that film. And so we've got Bobby Douglas and Wayne Bachman, who were his teammates, his international teammates with us. And Bobby, we've been talking about Rick Sanders every time we get together. Here's your chance to put something on film. What stands out about Rick Sanders to you?
Rick was a very, very unusual athlete. He had a tremendous endurance, and he had the ability to cut a great deal of weight, which he had to do all the time. He was always on the verge of being disciplined, and quite the ladies' man. And he had many adventures that are X-rated. But he was America's first world champion, and he was a NCAA champion, I think, twice. Yes. And Penn, my best friend, Tadaki Hara in the finals, and after he pinned Hara, I knew he was the real deal. There are several stories about him. One of the most notable stories is his adventure on the Ohio Turnpike. After the, I think it was after the Olympic Games, he had spent the night somewhere in the Cleveland area, and somebody dropped some drugs in his drink, and he was found on the Ohio Turnpike running down the turnpike nude. And State Highway Patrolman picked him up, put him in the cruiser, and when he put him in the cruiser, Rick jumped over behind the wheel and took off with the cruiser. And make a long story short, that was one of the darker moments in his wrestling career. But he unfortunately lost his life after the 72 Olympic Games. He was killed in Yugoslavia, I think it's Serbia now, in a car accident. And he was a great loss, personal loss to me, and a great loss to America.
And we'll be able to expand on that. And I know you've got a lot more to talk about in the Legend Chronicles online version. Wayne, you're one of the great storytellers of all time. Your book has inspired me for years. I wish more people would write books like you wrote. You included Rick Sanders in your book. Tell us something about Rick Sanders we might not know.
The first time I saw Rick Sanders was at the 1964 Olympic tryouts against Grace Simons. And of course, Simons was my hero. Simons to me was the greatest wrestler ever at that time, particularly the greatest technician, but he had all the qualities. And Sanders, as a kid, I think right after his freshman year at Portland State, gave Grace Simons all he could handle. I mean, it was a tough, close match. And that's when I turned and said, this guy's the real deal. He's the next one coming up. And so that was my first, and of course I have a lot of stories I'll tell later.
Yeah, fantastic. I remember one of my heroes, Bob Bergen, who was coach at Eagle Point High School and was a teammate of Rick Sanders, Portland State. He told me one thing about Rick Sanders, and it made a big difference. He said he liked to train on the trampoline. Kind of an unusual training device, but got his legs strong, his balance, and all that synergy. So Rick Sanders, one of America's greatest Olympic silver medalists twice, first world champion. Thanks to Bobby Douglas and to Wayne Bachman. Make sure you join us for the Legend Chronicles online version. It's coming right up, and we'll expand on this. There's a lot more to see.
When we come back, NC State head coach Pat Popolizio will join us. That's after this.
Casey's, famous for pizza.
Proudly made in the USA, Danmar offers incredible protection and customized gear. I'm Tony Ramos, NCAA champion and world team member. Take my word that Danmar Warrior headgear is the best. It's what I use. Look for my limited edition signature headgear at a retailer near you or online at danmarwarrior.com. I'm a world-class warrior and you can be one too with Danmar. Follow me on Twitter at T_Ram133 or on my website, teamramos.co.
Every day in this sport, you have an opportunity to make a difference. To win in this sport, you have to have three things. A strong body will give you the conditioning to win. A strong mind will give you the technical ability to win. But a strong heart will give you the opportunity to win when no one else thinks you can. Let today be your day. Strong mind, strong body, strong heart. That together makes a champion.
Well, after several dominant early season victories, North Carolina State has skyrocketed up the national polls. Joining us now, the leader of the pack, Pat Popolizio. Coach, how are you?
It's going great. Good day in Raleigh. Temperature is about 72 degrees, so you can't beat that.
Well, you've had some solid teams over the last couple of years, but this one already looks like it could be your best yet. True or false?
I agree with you. I think, we got to continue to build on what we've created. Work ethic and attitude, belief, and stay hungry. And I think we'll put ourselves in position to finish higher than we have at the national tournament and beat some teams that we haven't been able to beat in years past. So I think, with the group we have, it could definitely be a special year.
One of the true standouts of the group has got to be Kevin Jack. He pulled his red shirt midway through last year, and he went on to place 5th at the NCAAs. Who are you hiding from us this year?
No secret weapons in this sport, but I think we have some individuals in our room that no one really knows about, that maybe didn't have the greatest high school career, that have made some huge strides at the college level, and I think that goes back to the work that our staffs put in and the belief of our guys, and just continuing to develop as student athletes across the board. So I think we got a couple guys in the room as time goes on that will have some breakthrough points throughout the season. With the schedule we have, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for these guys to prove themselves, and we're going to change up our lineup here and there to see who's going to be the best guy at each weight. And obviously we've got some weights that are already established, but I think in the end we're going to have 10 very solid guys that can compete with anybody in the country.
All right, let's talk about your superstar, of course, Nick Gwiazdowski. He's already proved that he's the best heavyweight in college wrestling. Will he be just as dominant on the senior level?
I think with time, I think he's going to prove himself that could be one of the best guys, internationally. I know that's his goal. I know he knows, and I know he's got a lot of work to do to make that happen. But I think he's willing to go through that process. But I think his style of wrestling is very good for international, and even, as long as he continues to study the way he has and put the time into the sport, I think he's going to continue to develop and be one of the best guys in the world. And I know that's one of his goals, and he's going to commit himself to doing that.
Final question of the Nike Hot Seat, Coach. Finish this sentence. North Carolina State can win a national championship if
we continue to grow our resources here at NC State. The mentality of our athletes have to continue to develop, and I truly believe that's the reason why I came here. It's a school that you can win a national title, and I think with time we will continue to develop and put ourselves in position to do that. And I know every day I wake up, I'm training to win a national title as a coach, and our student athletes are doing the same. So the mentality, the philosophy is there, and we just have to, you got teams out there that are doing everything right as well, and we got to continue to make sure we're doing our part.
Our guest has been NC State head man Pat Popolizio. Coach, thanks for the time, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, Scott.
Well, there's been way too much talking in the show, not nearly enough wrestling, so let's go to the technique freak, Chad Lohman. Chad?
All right, today I'm going to show you guys how to finish a front headlock. Either he takes a bad shot, and I down block and get right to my front headlock, or I pull him down. Either way, turn a little bit. First thing I want to do right here is I got to keep this elbow high so he can't get elbow control and hold it. So Brandon gets my elbow. First thing I do is I bounce and clear my elbow. Then next thing I want to do is I'm going to pull him, try to get him to his elbows. Most good guys are going to come back up right away. And that's when I like to block this elbow and put my head right there in the hole. And see how I sit to my hip? It makes it real tight. And now I'm going to drive into him as I go around him. Get to the hip and circle for my 2 points. So I take Brandon and I snap him down, my front headlock. I'm going to pull him to his elbows. He comes back up. I block and get right to my head in the hole. Driving into him and get my 2 points. That's how you do a head in the hole, and that's your technique of the week.
All right, thanks, Chad. Hey, we're out of time, but we will have our singlet winner from the Takedown Sportswear Company next week. News, interviews, and articles, where are you going to get them? TakedownWrestle.com. Also, follow us on social media for all the breaking wrestling news as it happens. And join us live Saturday mornings for the show that started it all, Takedown Wrestling Radio. From our studios here in Des Moines, Iowa, I'm Scott Casper. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We'll see you next week.